Hello, good evening, welcome to my humble model railway, Bedstead Junction. Now you're going to see a scene of apparent chaos, okay, and all will be revealed in due course. Now it's all revolved around the fact that I bought myself a new, another locomotive second hand, let's say from eBay, and it arrived all fine, nicely presented, but when I put it on the track, it ran Jerky. Now, doing a bit of research, I looked up other models for sale on eBay. Some of those were described as running Jerky. This one wasn't. Now, I'm going to go through with you how I managed to solve the problem in the end, okay? And it did cause me in a way to almost, let's put it this way, it caused a lot of head scratching. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the finger marks on my head, but there we go. But it all revolves around this locomotive. It's a standard class 4 by Hornby. And I would guess it's around a model that's been around for some time. It's R2715 BR460 class 75,000 they call it. So would it be like 75? Mine should be 75062 according to the illustration on the box. But that's what we got there, okay? We go if we see that properly. Alright, so now it came out of the box running jerkily, and I thought, well, it's going to need some lubrication, a bit of TLC. So I took it all apart, okay, as you do, lots of little screws and everything else. I want to hint for those of you who are thinking about dismantling your locomotive, a little tip. Something I use. A magnetic disc to keep my screws in, okay? You do sometimes get the odd screw that's not magnetic, but that's the exception rather than the rule. Those screws are kept in there, magnetised, and they're going nowhere. Those are the screws which are going to be holding on the body of this locomotive. And I'll tell you what the problem was. Now, it ended up being the cover for the worm gear. Alright, so I'm going to take a little look at it now. We're going to turn the locomotive, we're going to turn my camera around. I'm going to take a little look at this locomotive. Right, so we're going handheld for this particular shot now. Now you can see my locomotive going round now. You see something unusual about it. Yes, it's got no body attached to it, okay. What I like to do is when I've actually carried out an attempted, let's say, repair, I usually like to run it without the body on. Give me a chance to see the mechanism a little bit more clearly as it's going round. And obviously it saves me taking the body back off again if there's still a problem. Now the problem turned out to be something really, really simple, and it took me the best part of 2 evenings to work it out. And for those of you who might know what it is already, don't spoil it for the others please by shouting the answer at the screen, okay? And here we go. It was to do with the cover that goes over the worm drive. Now you've got 2 screws holding this locomotive together in the vital areas. You've got one screw holds on the motor and at the front of the motor, and then there's another screw at the back which holds on the worm drive. And I think it's Mike's Movies had one of these, and he took one of these apart. And I'm going to come to the bit where I actually solved this, because it was so easy in the end that I could kick myself for not realising it sooner, okay? Okay, so round it comes. You can see now, if I had this now on this setting here, it would be jerking, okay? And now, you see it going by lovely. Now we'll just have a look at the locomotive itself. I don't know how well lit we are. Perhaps we can turn up the screen, turn up the brightness a bit. Let's have a look. Got brightness setting here. Let's go at the brightness. Okay, right, we're up to a little bit high now on the brightness. But you'll see, I use my oil pen as a pointer, as a suitable pointer. Got one screw back here, holding on the worm drive. And in between the little valley there you can see, there's another screw holding on the motor. Now, what I did is I removed, first of all I removed this here, the worm drive. And that, I cleaned out lots of old oil and everything else, but it was still sticking. Now I'm going to give you a little illustration of what I did. Right, so please excuse my total lack of artistic skills, okay? But we're just trying to explain what I've actually done. So we can get this with the paper down here now. Okay, so if you can imagine, right, so what we're looking at here, we got the, I don't know why you can see that, perhaps I'll turn the brightness down a little. There we go, that's a little bit clearer, isn't it? Okay, so, if you imagine, that's your, there's your motor at the front, and there's your worm drive cover, okay? So you've got a screw holding the worm drive, you've got a screw holding the motor in there, and then the worm drive cover clips up over the top of the motor cover, and you've got another screw at the back here. Now the problem I was getting was that this, when I did the screw up, was pushing down too much on the worm drive. Okay, and so when you did up the screw, if you undid this screw and undid this screw slightly, it would run better. Not perfectly, but it would run better. Okay, but as soon as you did the screws up again, it would stick. So it was running very, very jerky. So what I did was, I'll show you now what I did. I got a pair of when I took this piece off here, this covers the motor, and I very, very slightly bent this piece down here. Okay, without trying not to break it. Gently bend it down until it was down far enough. Now when you did up the screw, it wasn't holding the pushing down too hard on the worm drive. And that's all it was. That piece there, which was the worm drive cover, was too tight. So tightly pressed down. And you see it here. Okay, again, you've got a screw bracket here at the back with a screw, and here with a screw, so it's magnetised. That's a very, very strong magnet in that motor. Right, okay. So, and then there's another screw. And there you can see in there, the wire, there's a little gap where the wires go that goes through at the back. We'll get that bit put right before you put those in. Okay, and I just bent that down ever so slightly, so that this is was not pressing down so hard on the worm drive, and the problem is cured. Okay, so excuse any shaky handouts, and like I say, I didn't want to have those screws out and try to film this at the same time. I'm not quite up to that same level. I mean, there's some people like Double O Bill who would happily take a locomotive to pieces and film the whole thing, you know, for all the world to see. But for me yet, I mean, I'm on a bit of a learning curve with repairing locomotives. I've been doing this for 2.5 years now, and I'm gradually learning. And if you have a standard class 4 by Hornby and you've been tearing your hair out wondering why it's running jerky, I mean, it sort of goes like, it go forward a bit. You can see the motion of going so far and then stick. Okay, I'm sorry, my finger's blurry there, but going so far and stick, so far and stick, so far and stick, and oh, you think what's wrong? Well, that's how I cured it. Okay, just simply bending down the metal bracket where the screw goes through. Don't do it too hard because you might break it, but and you might be looking for a new motor cover. But for me, it actually works. Okay, and it's worked wonders on my locomotive. So if we have a look now and watch, a bit of fun for you. It's still sticking ever so slightly, but not so bad as it was. Maybe me not with the controller not high enough. Let's bring it around. I'm sure it's running much better than it was. Let's turn that controller down now. Now you can see it running at that speed there. It would not have run at that speed. You see it's still doing it. Okay, back to plan B. Right, so I've got a little theory. Now, see this going along lovely now, no jerkiness, okay? No jerkiness in the running. Perfectly running now. I bent that bracket down just a little bit more. Now, I have got a little bit of a theory. And this is just a theory in my mind, okay? And only the people at the Hornby factory could probably confirm this for me. I am guessing that bracket here, they actually bend that there. Some of my fingers going there. I hold it all at the same time. I bet you they bend that down just enough to be able to stop it from doing up too tight. That's how they adjust it. I mean, you could either do that, or you could find some way of putting some kind of different thickness of packing pieces underneath the actual motor cover. But I've just actually adjusted this now. My guess is that if anybody ever takes off this motor cover, which not many people would find cause to do so, if you do that screw up too tight, it's going to press that motor cover down too far and bend that bracket back up again. So if you imagine what I've done is don't want to bore you too, we're going over it too much, but let's just stop that around there. But if you imagine you bend that bit down there, okay, so I'm bending that down, I bent that down with a pair of pliers. If you do that screw too tight, it's going to sort of lift it back up again. And I reckon that's what caused it at some point to become all bindy. So it's all that is that motor cover there is pushing down too hard on the worm drive, and it just needs to be adjusted. Okay. Right, so what we've got now is I've got my standard class 4, which was, honestly, I've got to be truthful with you, it was an absolutely jerky nightmare. It was jerk. It was sticking, a mechanism looked like it was sticking in one particular point. Now, for those of you who are brave enough, okay, it's probably worth investigating all the things I did. When I'm a little bit more brave with the photography, when I can photograph and do the job at the same time, filming work at the same time, then I might be able to give a more illustrated video. But this, I hope that this helps, because I've managed to transform this locomotive from a really terrible runner. I picked this up Wednesday night. I fiddled around with it for a couple of hours last night. It's now Thursday evening, the 25th of July. And as you can see, the locomotive is running lovely now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a separate video. Okay, I'm going to put this video out for now because it's going to show you that you can actually fix these models. If they're jerky in operation, is all it probably is, just to recap, is the cover for the worm drive is pressing down too hard. It's pressing down too hard on the gears. So the worm drive on the motor has been pushed down too tightly, and so it doesn't give you enough freedom of movement. So it's all that needs doing is it needs adjusting. And what you do there is you adjust that by bending the bracket on the actual worm drive cover, bending it downwards a little bit at a time until, and then putting it back on, doing the screw up a little bit more until it's running like this. And this now is running absolutely superbly. This is everything this model should be. Now, like I say, they probably adjusted these brackets in the factory the same way as I just did. And if you do the screw up too tight, okay, is probably going to push, bend the bracket back up again, allowing the motor to come down too far, to allow the actual worm bar to come down too far. Okay, so if you like what you see, please press the like button, please subscribe, remember to ring that bell for forthcoming videos. We're 11:10 at night now, and I'm getting tempted to do it. I am. Okay, so you need to wait and see whether I will be doing a video, either another video tonight or tomorrow. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and good night.